Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Now, for those of you who have heard about the video game Subverse, whether it's through watching my last video, which you really should watch for context, or by any other means, you probably think the title of this video is a joke. Because for those of you who don't know, Subverse is an upcoming sci-fi action RPG porn parody. Yes! You heard me. I'm not bullshitting you. This isn't an April Fool's joke. I genuinely believe that this erotic, adults-only video game is the most important video game of 2019 or 2020, all dependent on when the game actually finally releases. But why, Gamertron? Why, you ask? Why would a porn game be the most important video game release of this year or next year? Do you have no decency? Do you have no shame? I'll answer the first question, leave the other two up to your interpretation. Now, to answer that question, we require context. What kind of video game exactly is Subverse? Well, it's a story-driven game, story-focused game, heavy on dialogue and cinematics. It features two types of combat gameplay: top-down, turn-based strategy combat, controlling a squad of unique characters, as well as the addition of real-time spaceship shoot-'em-up combat gameplay. Supposedly features a deep progression system with XP, loot, character customization. The game's theme and premise consists of comedic parody and highly erotic adult content. In layman's terms, nudity and sex. And now with those bullet points out of the way, are you starting to connect a few dots here? One of the most obvious ones probably being, there is no other game like this out on the market. A porn game that's taking itself seriously and trying to be a good game, trying to be a quality product, and not just throwaway wanking material? Because if we're being realistic here, that's like what, 99% of what almost all porn games are? Throwaway shovelware? Just there to make a quick buck and satisfy a niche kink? But that's not what Subverse is. There's genuine effort and passion being put into this thing. To not only satisfy erotic urges, but to create a genuinely fun, quality video game. Again, this game is an anomaly. It's unheard of. It's almost, in a sense, true originality. An actually genuine, new, original idea being brought to the gaming market. Adult-only video games are mostly looked down upon, and with good reason. They're mostly shovelware. But Subverse has the potential to completely change that perception. To perhaps even inspire a new generation of high-quality, adult-only video games. Just imagine the possibilities of removing the stigma around the adults-only rating. Subverse is a video game that presents a one-of-a-kind opportunity to create genuine change in the video games industry. Just imagine the headlines. Adult-only sci-fi porn parody, Subverse sells millions, is critically acclaimed, possibility of having a running for a Game of the Year award nomination. Granted, my vision here may be a bit too grandiose, but it is still, nonetheless, a possibility. It may not reach the grand heights of that hypothetical headline I just pitched, but when Subverse does come out, first on early access, and then in its full final release launch, it is going to cause a scene in the gaming community and in the video game industry. Subverse and its developer, Studio Foe, are going to shake things up. However, next to the personal success of the game Subverse and its developer, Studio Foe, its potential to create change in the industry, etc., but the other reason I declare this to be the most important video game of 2019 and 2020 is because Subverse provides the opportunity for the gaming community to use this game as a vehicle for making a statement. As a giant middle finger, a giant fuck you to games media, to games journalists, and AAA publishers. While I do attempt to be the eternal optimist, I have to be realistic and objective here. Video games media, games journalists, and AAA publishers have failed the people. They are in many ways anti-consumer and apathetic to the plights of the people that they have created. Video games media and its journalists on the daily slander and misrepresent the community, more concerned with pushing their moral agendas than doing their damn jobs. And with AAA video game publishers, we have the over-exaggerated implementation and abuse of monetization within games, as well as these publishers forcing the developers under them to chase trends and create constant clones of other popular games instead of permitting their developers to get creative and create unique experiences. Subverse provides us with an opportunity to make a statement. A statement to games media and journalists that their attempts at moral grandstanding, agenda pushing, slandering, and shaming the community are fruitless. You can lie and regurgitate all the shit in your echo chamber all you want, but you have so little influence and respect from the community that it doesn't matter how many temper tantrum articles you put out. We're still gonna buy and play and enjoy and support this porn game in spite of you. Or just to spite you. And as for the statement it makes to AAA publishers, it sends the message of, your products are so anti-consumer that we'd rather go buy and play and support this porn game instead of your products. Just imagine it, the absolute beautiful chaos Subverse will cause if it is a critical and commercial success. Games journalists triggered over the content of the game, slandering, insulting, misrepresenting the developers and its fans, only for their efforts to be in vain, and the game just keeps getting more and more popular and gets more and more positive reviews, and continues to sell more and more. Just imagine how much that devastates all their narratives, puts their echo chamber perspective into question. And when it comes to the AAA publishers, just imagine the embarrassment. Imagine the CEO of Activision or the CEO of EA, Bobby Kotick or Andrew Wilson respectively, having to walk into an investors meeting and having to explain why a porn parody game is getting better reviews and selling more copies than anything they've put out recently. Just imagine it. The glorious chaos. If the gaming community backs Subverse, then for the first time in a long time, we will have the power and the opportunity to make a statement and change the video game industry forever. Yes, I'm being serious. This is real. I'm not just being hyperbolic and dramatic and clickbaity. This video game, Subverse, could really change everything. Now it's up to you guys to spread the message, it's up to the gaming community to support this game, and it's up to the developers, Studio Foe, to deliver on a quality product. Now so far, everything looks good on the developer end. From what research I have done, Studio Foe appears to have a very positive reputation, a very loyal fan base, wasn't able to find anything shady or out of place, any sort of damning criticism about them, outside of some pretty messed up fetishes presented in their previous work. But nothing illegal, all of it falling under freedom of speech, and the developers, as they have displayed themselves, appear to be a fun-loving, crazy bunch of guys and gals with a raunchy, and I mean raunchy, sense of humor, as well as having a sense of being self-aware, and quite frankly, just being a colorful bunch of everyday Joes, with some really fucked up kinks. I mean, seriously, guys! Yes, I'm kink-shaming. Sue me. Why can't you guys have normal, erotic fantasies like everyone else? Damn it, Studio Foe! Ah well, no one's perfect. However, I do want to give a personal thank you to Studio Foe. Thank you for having the courage to make something like this. Being well aware of the outrage and the unfair criticism that will be sent your way for making this game, especially if it becomes popular and successful. You guys and gals are really putting yourselves out there to make a dream come true, to create a passion project, to fill a void in the market. And if all goes well, well, Studio Foe, you guys are making history. So, Studio Foe, don't fuck this up. Thank you for all of your efforts, and best of luck on Subverse. As for everyone else, that means you, gaming community. In the end, the fate of this game lies in your hands. Your perverted, degenerate hands. Do you want to make history? Because you can help make history with Subverse. Do you want to change the video game industry forever? Do you want to make a statement to games media, journalists, and publishers? Well, all of that requires that you support Subverse. Whether it be on Kickstarter, or on Steam, on Early Access, or when it is fully released, the game requires your money, your time, your promotion, getting the word out there, notifying people about the game, sharing the information around Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube. Ask, or even demand, that your favorite content creators, whether they be YouTubers or live streamers, make content on Subverse. It's all up to you, folks. It's all on you, gaming community. Do you actually want to create meaningful change and send a message? Or do you just want to virtue signal on the internet? Tell me, little doggy, are you all bark, or do you have some bite? Now, before I wrap up this video, I do want to make a personal injection here. As I'm sure some of my subscribers are wondering, Gamertron, what the fuck? You buy and play and support porn games? Honestly, no I don't. I prefer to have fun with real women in real life instead of watching fictional characters bang uglies. I may have low intelligence and a shitty high-pitched voice, but God at the very least blessed me with a handsome mug and a fit body, so I'm gonna use them, goddammit. However, with that being said, I will still be buying and playing and supporting Subverse out of sheer principle. I honestly do believe that this video game, this erotic comedy adults-only RPG video game, has the possibility of creating meaningful positive change in the industry. And that is why I will be buying and playing and supporting Subverse. And honestly, I really hope you do too. If you are of age, of course. Subverse is an adults-only video game, must be over 18. That means you, Timmy, you little shit.